There is something new every day. The future feels so unpredictable. Where could we be in 15 years? Our playgrounds may change. Learning may not need classrooms. Robots might help us meet time for more important things. Will virtual life be our new social life? Coming? Don't worry about what the future will look like. Just prepare for it. Fearless plans from Aegis Federal Life Insurance help you and your family prepare for the future.
I'm feeling nice when I'm with you. When I'm with you, that's how we do. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. Only one that I desire. Ooh la 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 la. Baby, pequeño no ataca, baby. Ooh la 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 la.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Backstage with Boria, someone I've known for years now. We've worked together at for a period, and he's been an India regular. India loves him. World champion 2003, and thereafter played many years in India. Is a character. All of us in India know how talented he is. All of us know how much he likes India, and is a man who this country likes as much. So welcome, Brad Hogg. Pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much, Boria, and it's great to be on your show. Well done going out on your own as well. So it's a big step, but there's so much out there these days, and you're a brilliant reporter, and I'm sure that you're going to go in leaps and bounds with this new venture of yours.
Very kind, very kind. Thank you very much for your words. Let's straight jump in. World Cup on Indian soil. India v Australia to start off. You are a world champion yourself. Can you set this up? A World Cup, India versus Australia. What does it take to get into a tournament like this? We've not won an ICC tournament before being an Indian for the last 10 years. Home soil advantage. Can you set it up for me?
Oh, look, you definitely got home soil advantage, but I think one thing that Australia have got, they've got a lot of depth as well in their bowling. They've got a great pace attack. They've got Mitchell Starc there with his left arm swing bowling with the new ball, which can do a bit of damage. But we've also got a spinner in Zampa in the middle order, in those middle overs as well, that can control it. And we've got a big choice of all-rounders, which is very important in a World Cup. So we've got Cameron Green, Mitchell Marsh, who can bowl medium pace as well as explode with the bat. We've got Glenn Maxwell. We've got Stoinis. We've got Ashton Agar as well. So we've got depth in that middle order. And we've got a dominant top order as well. I think Travis Head is going to open the batting with David Warner. So that will get us off to a great start. Travis Head, very aggressive batsman. You need that up the top of the order. So I think, if I'm looking at all the teams around the globe in this World Cup, I think Australia are the only team that can knock India off in the World Cup. So I'm quietly confident with that, with the team that we've got right now. They've had success in the World Test Championship. They're having success in the Ashes, and they seem as though they're very switched on. So I think that's going to be a great contest. I'm looking at the Indian team, very explosive batting lineup. Brilliant batting lineup, but can you put Iyer in there? Is Rahul going to be fit to keep? They're the big questions. Without Pant there, you need Rahul to keep. And who's going to be in that middle order? Are you going to have Jadeja or Axar Patel? Jadeja slightly better batter, Axar Patel slightly better bowler. So they're the question marks there. And do you go with Thakur or Deepak Chahar? Deepak Chahar probably a better bowler, more economical. Thakur not so economical, but better with the bat. So you're adding a bigger batting depth
That's beautifully set up, Brad. I mean, beautifully set up. You've analyzed the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, but it is also about pressure. You are going to play under pressure on home soil. All of India already talking about 2011 and MS Dhoni. All of us saying 2011 home team, 15 home team, 19 home team. So you've got to win. Can you tell me a little bit? World Cups are not simply won by talent. World Cups are also won by a team that has the best temperament, that soaks in pressure. Your team, 2003, India was really good going there. But the final, for example, Australia was super dominant. So under pressure, how do you rate Rohit Sharma as captain?
That's a big question. When you're under pressure, you need your other teammates around that are leaders. You need a Virat Kohli to help him out as well. You need Rahul behind the stumps, who's got a lot of captaincy experience as well, just to help him out to take that pressure off. Even in the bowling department, bowlers need to stand up and make the decisions for themselves out in the middle when they're under pressure. So I think if I go back to 2003, especially with Australia, we lost Shane Warne just before that series. So all of a sudden, I'm in the team as the frontline spinner, and there was a lot of pressure on that aspect of it, and people were worried about it. But the way that John Buchanan sat down with me and we just sat how we were going to approach it, done all the preparation. It's how can I benefit the team out in the middle? And for me, I saw myself as a weak link in that team. And I thought if I could dominate the best batsman in the opposition team, keep him quiet, I'm doing the right thing by my team and taking the pressure off the other experienced bowlers who don't need to cover me as much for the loss of Shane Warne. But going back there too, we were preparing for the World Cup 4 years out, even before the 2007 World Cup. We're preparing 4 years out. We're looking at what we need to make sure we're ahead of the pack moving forward. Who's going to be playing certain roles? How are they going to be playing those roles? So it's all set up before the tournament actually starts. And if you've got your team going in there knowing exactly their roles, then all of a sudden it takes pressure off you as a captaincy. All you've got to do is say, let's say Tarkor's bowling and he's getting a little bit of tap. Mate, are you focused? Do you realise what plan you've got against this batsman? All right, how are you going to go about it? Do you back yourself? Go and do it. And that's exactly what Ricky Ponting was doing with me when I was first in the 2003 World Cup. So it's just been there psychologically for your players, not telling them what to do, but just making sure that they're switched on with their minds, backing their original plans and and trusting them to be adaptable as well.
Word on Virat Kohli, Brad. I mean, last World Cup, the T20, for example, in Australia, that Pakistan innings sort of all of a sudden took the cricket world and by storm. And what an innings that was. But perhaps his last 50 over World Cup, who knows? I mean, he's fit enough, but on home soil for sure. So how do you look at Virat Kohli back in form, playing well, good IPL? How do you look at Virat Kohli?
Look, I'm looking at Virat Kohli, and I was just looking at the stats the other day. He got 100 in his 500th international game, and I'm comparing him to Tendulkar. Tendulkar, if you look at the games, has slightly got a better conversion rate with the hundreds in that aspect. But when you look at the innings actually played, Virat Kohli's got a better record. So I just think he's got that hunger back. There's a little bit of pressure taken off him. I think he's got unfinished business, and that's probably the big danger for opposition teams is Virat Kohli. And that innings over here at the MCG against Pakistan, hitting Harris Ralph back over his head off a good length, that was the best shot that I have ever seen in cricket. It was brilliant. Wow. It was just awesome. He was switched on. But I think fans out there have got to realise too that there's a lot of pressure on Virat Kohli. He's going to have those ups and downs. Sachin Tendulkar had those ups and downs. So when he's got that right frame of mind, he's had the pressure off him, he's been able to relax and come back, you see the dominant Virat Kohli. And I think we're going to see a brilliant Virat Kohli on home soil in a World Cup. He wants it, and that's a big danger for opposition teams. For me, I'm not worried about I'm not worried about the Indian batting. I'm probably worried about Iyer and Rahul. They've got to be in the team. Hopefully they're back fully fit. It's the bowling department from India that I'm worried about. I'm just looking at the stats there. India dominating the power play, best power play, and best finishes of a 50 over innings. It's their bowling which doesn't get them off to a good start, and out the back end, I don't think they've got that depth quality.
How important will spin be, Brad? Because on home soil, India has variety. Obviously, there will be either the leggy in Chahal and Kuldeep. We've also got Jadeja. There's a possibility, but they might even sort of get an offie in Ashwin. We've got that possibility there. How important will spin be on home soil given the conditions?
It'll be extremely important, very important. And the thing with India, they've got too many options. That's probably the headache for them. Do they go with Kuldeep or do they go with Chahar? And it's a mix and match balance. Do you go with someone who's got a better strike rate, picking up wickets in those middle overs? I'd like to go down that path, but then you've got to have a probably more defensive spinner out the other end, and that's between Axar Patel and Jadeja. Who do you go with there? So that's the big headache. There's quality spinners there in India, and then I'm really looking forward to seeing Pakistan in this equation as well, because if I look at Pakistan, they've got a couple of high quality spinners that can also bat. That gives them a lot of batting depth. So that's where Pakistan's strength is, and I think they're a big chance through this tournament as well. So for India,
you're reading my mind, because my next question was, we will always be biased talking India Pakistan, but being objective, can you set up India Pakistan on Indian soil for me? How excited, as a cricketer, as a cricket fan, as an analyst, as a follower of the game, will you be to watch India Pakistan?
I'll definitely be watching it. The game's in Hyderabad, isn't it?
The game is in Ahmedabad, in that 132,000 Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, the largest.
Oh, that's right. The largest stadium in the world. For some reason, I had Hyderabad in the back end, because there's a bit of a Muslim population around there. So I'm thinking,
Pakistan
that's
is actually playing a couple of games in Hyderabad, but they're playing India in Ahmedabad.
Yeah. They'll get some support down there in Hyderabad as well, I'd presume. But looking at that biggest stadium in the world, I think this is one of the biggest contests that we can have, and it's great that it's happening on Indian soil. And look, politics gets in the way of sport. It gets in the way of sport here in Australia, in England, and I just wished it didn't, because we're missing such great rivalry between the two countries. I think it'll be better for Pakistan as well. They'll get that exposure, and it'll be better for cricket, because we need Pakistan in there, because it's such you've got Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, as well as Pakistan. They're all cricket loving countries. So we want those contests to happen. But I'm looking at it. India have got a more dominant batting lineup, as I said, against Australia. I think Pakistan, with their pace attack, slightly better advantage there, especially with the left arm Shaheen Afridi, quality bowler. When you've got a left arm that swings the ball with that pace with a new ball, you're able to create those inroads out the top.
So who will be Brad Hogg's top four? I mean, ideal semi-finalists. It's always difficult. I know it is difficult to pick four ahead of a World Cup, but on form, strength of the team, seeing conditions, these conditions better than many Australian players. So who would be your top four?
All right, let me go through it. West Indies are out of it. I think they're gone. Netherlands, I'm just loving that they're there, but they might upset a team or two. They might upset South Africa again. Bangladesh won't be involved in the top four. Who else have we got down there? Sri Lanka won't be involved in the top four. So
Afghanistan won't be, perhaps.
Yeah. Afghanistan. England won't be. England have not got a stabilised middle order. They don't have Jofra Archer, and I just don't think they know what their bowling combination is going to be as well. So I think they're a bit of a mismatch at the moment, England. We're not going to see the dominant England over there. They'll rely too heavily on the top three, but I don't think their middle order has got enough experience, so they're out of the five. So Pakistan, with their spin strength as well as their pace strength, they'll need to be very good defensively with their bowling department, because I don't think their batters are powerful or aggressive enough. So they won't make runs quick enough. So they'll rely heavily on their bowling department. So they'll be in the top four. Australia, I think, will be going in as favourites, because I think they've probably got the best balanced team going in, and they've got enough variety in their all-round department in that middle order. So I think that gives Australia the favourites badge. India on their home soil with a powerful batting lineup and a reasonably good bowling lineup, I think are going to be in the final with Australia. And I think the team that is going to cause the biggest upset in the Final Four will be South Africa. Don't write off South Africa. I think Maharaj with his left arm off spin. You've got Shamsi there with his quality left arm leg spin. If Shamsi can keep his emotions right, and stay in control and bowl what works for him, I think he will have a very good World Cup. I think Shamsi is going to be the player that makes or breaks South Africa in this tournament, because they've got quality batting depth, and they've got Nortje and Rabada, two quality fast bowlers. And, they've got a bit of other depth in there. They've got a couple of left arm options as well. So South Africa, for me, are the team that could upset India and Australia, as well as Pakistan.
One question I must ask you, because of who you are. Kuldeep Yadav, somebody India banked on a lot, did not treat him well, in and out of the team. How do you rate Kuldeep Yadav, and do you think he can be our go-to man in the World Cup? Kuldeep Yadav.
I think he can. He had a great IPL this year. He's come back well. And what defines a character, what defines a person, what defines a player is someone who's been dropped, who's been out of the game. He's worked on his action. He's slightly a little higher. He's not falling away, or that front arm's not falling away as much. He's coming down more. That front arm's coming down more vertically. That's getting more revolutions on the ball. He's getting a little bit more drift as well. So he's creating a little bit of trouble. I think Rohit Sharma captains him well. And I just think there's that resilience in him. He's a fighter. I absolutely love the way he's gone about it. I love the way that he's come back in that team and just performed straight away. And I think he'll play a big part in the World Cup. I really do. And you've got that option. So there's certain teams that he's going to do well against, and there's certain teams that you might think, right, we might go with Chahar apart from Kuldeep Yadav in this. And I'm looking at Australia there. Who would I bowl, Chahar or Kuldeep Yadav against Australia? I'd actually go Kuldeep Yadav, because he bowls attacks the stumps, and it brings the wrong end into the game. Whereas Chahar, he's turning away, and you can sort of sit on him and play through that point region. And if you're slightly over pitch, you can hit him straight. Whereas Kuldeep's he's harder to play on both sides of the wicket. So for me, I'd play Kuldeep against Australia.
Last one on this, Brad. With the IPL, now that all these teams, take Australia, most of the players play white ball cricket in India for 2 months every year. A lot of these teams, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, Australia, does that nullify home advantage to a degree now that the conditions are known? Chennai, Ahmedabad, Kolkata, a lot of these players play there. So does that sort of push India back a little bit compared to earlier, say 2011?
It will push India back slightly. But if it was a T20 World Cup, I'd say it pushes India back, even a little bit more, because it's a shorter format. IPL's played on a shorter format. You're trying to create flatter wickets, but this is a 50-over tournament. So when they're playing Australia, they might go down that Test match path where we go, right, we're going to have that spin-friendly wicket. We're going to try and create that advantage with us. And it's your home World Cup. I think you should be able to do that. I don't care what anyone else says, but for me, home ground advantage, it's up to the opposition teams to go out there and prepare for what might come up and to be able to counteract. Yep, and that's what Steve Waugh was all about. I am not going to have a team that has dominated the world or can't be named number one until we dominate or we win a series in India. And he eventually did that. So that makes that team a great team. So when you can dominate on foreign conditions, what's dished up to you, that defines you. That defines you as a team. So for me, in a 50-over game, I think you can have your conditions to your advantage, so that it makes it harder for the opposition. So in the 50-over game, I don't think the IPL experience is going to change or make too much of a difference. Excellent
talking to you, Brad Hogg, on this. Excellent. I mean, as usual, clear vision, perception, extremely important observations. Thank you very much. Now, let me just take you to a different thing. You are going to come to India in a different avatar. You will be talent hunting for the show, The Hunt. Tell me a little bit, how excited are you?
Look, I'm really excited because the part that I'm playing, there's two people that are involved out at the moment that I can talk about, Steve War and myself. So we're going to have plenty of mentors out there. And Steve's done a lot of work up there in Kolkata as well. So he's looking forward to getting over there. I think my role is more of an individual role in a sense that I'll be going out there and looking for talent that wouldn't get those opportunities. So I'm hoping to find the next Indian cricketer that probably hasn't put a pair of pads on, has played a bit of tennis ball cricket right out in the sticks. So someone totally left field. And I want to do the same here in Australia. That's my goal. So we've got a few Indigenous players that have played for Australia, but we want to get more of them involved. So I'll be looking to do the same thing here in Australia. It's really exciting. It's something that's passionate with me because at the end of the day, cricket is a game that's meant to bring us all together. And I'll go back to that Pakistan-India conversation that we had earlier. It's about bringing cultures together, and that's the greatest thing that cricket has given me, not the World Cup wins or anything.
I'm thinking Brad Hogg in a tuk-tuk in a remote Indian village, standing there watching little kids play, and all of a sudden, very Bollywood style, says, "Hey, I've got my next superstar." And if that guy some years down the line gets an IPL contract, imagine what that'll mean for that guy. Unbelievable.
Oh, it is. I look at Carter Keir from the Mumbai Indians, came out of left field. Gold, who played this year, the left arm Chinaman that played the one-off game, picked out of left field. This is even going further. This is picking someone that hasn't had that opportunity of going to the academies, of being recognised by one of those coaching academies that you have around Australia. So I want to be out there on the tut-tut, grab him, put him in the tut-tut, obviously speak to the family first and make sure that they're happy with it. But it's not just about grabbing a kid from nowhere and then putting him in an environment where it's going to be foreign to him, where all these other kids that he's going to be around have been fortunate enough to be in the society where there's more opportunity. So there's more to it as well. It's a social aspect as well. It's seeing this young man grow, seeing how it takes those new opportunities, see him get over those insecurities. And we all have insecurities. Everyone. It doesn't matter what background you have. But this is going to be a different insecurity going in there. And this is a real
aspirational tale. It's a real aspirational tale. Cricket and reality TV coming together, giving people's dreams a means to be successful, makes for a great TV show.
Yeah, it does. And and it just says it just gives everyone inspiration if the kid actually makes it. Well, he's come from there and made that. And I'm here and I want to do this. Well, I should be able to go and do it. And that's what we want. We want the next generation coming through with those stars, those heroes that lead the way, give inspiration, because we all need that inspiration. I get inspiration from just seeing people on the street here in Australia that see someone in need and they go over and help that person. They don't have to go and help that person, but they go out and just give them a little bit of a helping hand. It just lifts the hair up on the back. And and sort of going back to it with that kid, I want to see the interaction with the other kids, see what sort of character it builds with the other kids that have had more opportunity. How do they accept it? How do they embrace it? How do they create that culture where they all grow together? And I think if you go back to the best Australian teams in that 2003 World Cup, what makes a winning culture is that everyone in that team, in that environment, is selfless. Yes, you've got to be selfish in a sense with the way that you play and make sure you're giving your best performance. But you've got to self-sacrifice certain things for the betterment of the team. That might be having to go for a 6 in the final overs when you're on 120, and that red ink could boost your average from 45 to 60 if you just knew. You've got to forget about that. That the individual stuff, you've got to go, because the best memories I have are the winning memories with the team and how we gel together. So it's not so much the matchups as such. It's more how we integrate it as a group, how we gel together, and that's what the hunt's all about. And whoever wins the World Cup is the team that gels the best together.
I leave it at that, Brad. Absolute pleasure talking to you. Can't wait to see you in India doing what you will for the hunt and, hunting for these kids and Indian talent, which will then get wings to fly the world and make a mark. Thank you very, very much. I look forward to getting you, to do some stuff together as well at some point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks very much. And just finishing on the hunt, it's just, I'm just grateful that I've got that opportunity, because it gives me an opportunity to do something that just brings my love of the game together, but also helping other people out there. Just being able to just give that opportunity to a kid, I think is more important than anything I've done on the playing field. If you know what I mean. I think this is probably the biggest role that I'll ever have in my life, and I'm so much looking forward to it. And I'd like to thank you for getting behind it, and I'd like to thank the Indian people for backing or supporting cricket around the world, loving Australians and loving my career. And Boria, it's been great being with you again online. Love the way that you do your business and the way that you operate. And it's always been a great, fun interaction with you again.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the social cause. That's what it is about. Sport is about building lives. Sport is about shaping careers. That's what you are doing. Thank you very much, Brad Hogg, for your time. Thanks,
mate. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.